There have been 2 assassination attempts on the Republican nominee for president. There was also a denial of Secret Service, this is my understanding, to RFK Jr., another challenger to Biden. I have a simple question. It is, what do you make of this?
Well, in answer to the first part of your question, we know that the Iranian government has made efforts to kill Donald Trump. We know that because a Pakistani national was arrested and was under surveillance for doing so. We know that prominent members in the Congress have called on the Biden administration to sanction Iran over its transparent efforts to try to kill Donald Trump. We know that. The Butler assassination, no one can make sense out of. Why? Because a 20-something-year-old amateur was able to go into an event, was stopped with a rangefinder by security, walked around for about an hour, went on top of a building that had the clearest shot at the podium where he knew Donald Trump was going to be speaking. There were local law enforcement officers in the building. One of them actually climbed up on the top and saw him with the gun. People in the crowd remarked up to 6 or 7 minutes prior that he had a gun. People in the Secret Service were notified within about 2 or 3 minutes that there was somebody, and yet they allowed him to go out to the podium. I could go on. There was no drone usage. There were insufficient people on the part of the Secret Service. There was no coordination or even communication that was rapid between local law enforcement and the Secret Service. Many of the people who were responsible for security at that Butler event have been put on suspension. The head of the Secret Service has resigned in disgrace. The interim successor is under enormous pressure. Do I think that that was a conspiracy of a government agency to get Donald Trump killed? No. What I do think is that there was a laxity at the highest levels of the Secret Service that the Donald Trump security detail should be given no extra consideration other than that accorded to other presidential candidates, even though there had been serial threats at his life in a way we've never seen before. In other words, they did not do something that might have been unusual for a presidential candidate, that is, give him the same level of protection of a president or vice president. And there had been calls for that. So there was a sense of ennui or relaxation that turned almost fatal. And the same thing was true of RFK. Although he was a third-party candidate with not more than 8 or 9%, his family history had warranted, and the threats that were lodged against him had warranted additional security, and none was given. And all I can say is there was a sense that Donald Trump did not warrant that. I would say this: if you repeatedly lower the bar of assassination by threats, and I want to be very specific here. David Floof, the current, he's former Obama advisor, now advising the Biden campaign, said a number of years ago that Donald Trump had to be destroyed. The current Secretary of Commerce, Ms. Raimondo, said that he should be extinguished, or eliminated to that effect. Dan Goldman, a representative from New York, said he should be eliminated. One of them said extinguish, the other said eliminated. So you had 3 prominent people saying that it would be better that Donald Trump was basically dead. In addition to that, you've had a sort of an assassination porn for about 8 years. What do I mean by that? I mean, if you collate what Madonna said, what Snoop Dogg said, what Johnny Depp said, what Kathy Griffith said, I could go on. These are celebrities that get a lot of attention. They have variously said that Donald Trump should be blown up, decapitated, incinerated, shot, stabbed. Even Shakespeare in the Park in New York did a Julius Caesar scene where he was being stabbed. In addition to that, Joe Biden, after the first assassination, and a private call to donors, said it's time to put Trump in the bullseye. Said that. According to the left's own values, because remember when Sarah Palin said she had a map of congressional districts with bullseye, and they said that that was leading to the types of violence that ended up with a U.S. representative shot. Then what was the net result of this? It gave a certain impression that if you were to shoot Donald Trump, there were major people in American society that would approve of it. Even the celebrity chef Anthony Bourdain, who was lately deceased, joked about poisoning Donald Trump. New Republic this summer ran a cover story. If you look at it very carefully, it's Donald Trump with a mustache, and he's outfitted as if he's Adolf Hitler, major magazine. So if you give the impression to popular culture, and that's what we're talking about, Madonna, Kathy Griffith, Johnny Depp, New Republic, and politicians as diverse as Dan Goldman or the current Secretary of Commerce, that he's Hitler and he should be killed, destroyed, eliminated, extinguished. And you have a Secret Service that lets a 20-year-old in, and then a month later on a golf course where everybody knows a particular hole is very dangerous because there is no protection from the street. A person can get out of a car, walk across the grass, rest a gun right on it, and have a clear shot at who's ever playing, the next hole over. And if that happens after that, what is the message that's being sent to the deranged of America? The message is this: if a 20-year-old can get away with it, and a crazy guy who has a whole history of dumb stuff, if he can get almost in sight of a president, and if you shoot this president, there's a lot of people in the country that will think that you're going to be an iconic. Then maybe I can try it because I'm a much better shooter than are these amateurs, and I will be heralded. And in a recent poll asked people who identified as Democratic, did you think Donald Trump would it be better off if they had been shot? 25% said yes. I think roughly 25% said they weren't sure. So there's a level of vituperation, whatever you think about Donald Trump, whatever you think about Donald. I don't see people on the right joking about killing Joe Biden. I see them doing off-tasteful jokes about his senility, his cognitive abilities. I see all that, but I do not see people talking about him being assassinated or blown up. I don't see it. I don't see it with Kamala Harris. I do see it all the time with Donald Trump.